Hi there, everyone. This is Sharifa Tharpe from ST Law Office, and I'm here to answer your drop your questions in the comments, and I will answer. Now, I want to let you know a little more about me. I am U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe, and I help clients to get their green cards and work permits. So what you can do is go to the link in my bio if you want to learn more about me, it will take you to the website where I have all the information available for you to contact me. If you would like to contact me directly to schedule a consultation, 054889. But right now, what you can do is drop your questions in the comments, and you can ask anything that's immigration related. I know if you're going through the process or you're thinking about going through the immigration process, you definitely have that nagging immigration question. So please go ahead and ask your questions. Now, I usually come with a topic. And today I'm going to talk about applying for the green card while you're in the United States. If you're U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident, parent, spouse, or your son or daughter who's 20 or own, especially in the case that they are mistreating you. So if they are mistreating you, refusing to apply for you, even if they've submitted the application on your behalf, but they continue to mistreat you, you can apply for permanent residence. Now, I want to remind you that I'm here to answer your immigration questions, so please go ahead and drop your questions in the comments. Latoya Plas, it's nice to see you. Jesus is King 899, thanks for tuning in. As usual, go ahead and drop your questions in the comments. That is what I'm here for. Now, I am talking about applying for the green card on your own if you're legal permanent resident, spouse, or your U.S. citizen spouse, parent, or your citizen son or daughter who's 21 or up are refusing to apply for you and they're mistreating you. So what happens is you can actually, if you qualify for this, you can actually stay in the United States and apply for your green card through this method. And it doesn't matter that you came in, you overstayed your visa, or even if you came across without permission, without your legal papers, you can, that can be overcome through this application if you qualify. Now, another perk, you don't have to, you can apply for a work permit while you wait for that green card process to be complete. Hi there, Gal Mad Hugger. So go ahead, and hi Seema Singh, it's nice to see you here. So go ahead and drop your questions in the comments. Now, let's talk more about what that application process involves, right? So if you're applying for the green card on your own, because you're a U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident, spouse, parent, or your citizen son or daughter are mistreating you, what does that process look like? So the first, you would have to apply for a special application on a specific form that's designated for what you're going through. It's the I-360. And then if you qualify, so for example, if your relative is a U.S. citizen, son or daughter, spouse, or a parent, then you will apply for the work permit and the adjustment of status at the same time. If your relative is a legal permanent resident, a spouse, a parent, or a spouse or parent, then you are going to submit the I-360, and then once you get an approval, then you'll do the adjustment of status application. And that adjustment of status application is dependent on whether an immigrant visa number is available. But the good news is that you can continue to qualify for a work permit while you wait for the adjustment of status process to be complete. So, so first you submit the applications, and then if you applied for a work permit, you will receive the work permit somewhere in between the applying for submitting that first application and the adjustment of status interview. And then once you get your work permit, that allows you to work and kind of alleviates the stress and frustration while you wait for the adjustment of status interview. Then you will get the notice. If you don't get a request for evidence, of course, you will get the notice that your interview has been scheduled, and then you will attend the interview, where they will just review not the abuse itself or the mistreatment, but they will be reviewing your background to make sure that you indeed qualify for the green card. So that, in a nutshell, is the green card process if you have to apply on your own based on the mistreatment of your U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident, parent, spouse, or citizen son or daughter who's 21 or up. I want to remind those of you that you can go ahead and drop your questions in the comments. I am here today. I try to come on every day, and some days I try to come on twice a day. This is one of those days where I'm going to try to come on twice a day. But I am here to answer your immigration questions. That is the main reason I'm here, because I know if you are going through the process, you have some sort of question that maybe even keeps you up at night. And I always give you the opportunity through this live show to answer your questions and to kind of alleviate some of the anxiety, or to help you to understand what direction you need to go in, whether you need to see an attorney or whether you're on the right track. Hi, Ray King 39. It's nice to see you here again. So I talked about applying for the green card on your own based on mistreatment by your U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident, parent, spouse, or citizen son or daughter who's 21 or up. Now, what I want to make clear that if you are in the United States, you overstayed your visa, or even came in without your papers, you could still qualify for this. It's not going to disqualify you like some other areas of immigration, the immigration, qualifying in other areas for the green card. This is specially designed for individuals who are in a very bad situation and they have limited options, and this presents an option for you. So if you get a deficiency letter stating that the I-693 is missing, when should you complete the I-693? So that I-693 is the medical exam. And with that, so you will get that letter. Usually they still send that letter. Right, so they still send that letter. Just it's sort of a reminder, but it's not going to be the end all of the application. With my clients, if they have not submitted that medical examination along with the application, they have brought it with them to the interview, where that is definitely the point where you need to make sure you have it. Where I would say that you should submit it on a timeline or at a specific time is if they specifically write you and say you need to submit it by this time, then you need to follow those instructions. But generally, that medical examination form, and keep in mind that I haven't reviewed your particular case. I don't know what your circumstances are. I don't know at what stage you are in the immigration process. So I cannot give you personal legal advice, but I can tell you that generally, based on my, unless it states that you must submit it by this time, Usually it's a sort of reminder to let you know that you need to have it in by the date of the interview, which you usually take it into the interview. So you completed biometrics. So yes. So just read that deficiency letter carefully. As always, if you would like legal advice, personal legal advice, you can give me a call at 561-405-4889. But generally, that medical examination is usually required at the interview. So they will not approve you without that completed medical examination. So you should make sure you have it at least by the interview and walk in with that medical examination. So great questions. Keep the questions coming. That's why I'm here. I'm here to answer your immigration questions. So I was also talking about applying for the green card on your own. I want to let you know also that if you're divorced, so if you have been divorced for less than 2 years and you went through a situation where your legal permanent resident spouse refused to apply for you and they mistreated you, there is still time for this green card. But you are the clock is ticking for you, because you have to be divorced for less than 2 years. If you are divorced for more than 2 years, then your opportunity to apply for it will pass. You no longer will qualify for it. So that is also a very important thing to know. If that relative was a U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident, a green card holder, parent who mistreated you and refused to apply for the green card, or just mistreated you, then that is going to be, you have up until you're 25. Once you turn 25, you're notified for this. Hi, one user 6. Thanks for tuning in again. So keep that in mind, that so if you have a parent and they mistreated you from you were a child, they didn't get your legal status, or they refused to apply for the green card and they mistreated you for this time, but you're now an adult, that your opportunity to apply for this has not passed. You have up until you're 25. Once you turn 25, you're not going to qualify. So once you're 24, 24 and some days. So if you are almost 25, you need to make sure that you apply for it. If this is the reason that you remain undocumented, is that your parent never applied for you or abandoned you or didn't feel it important to. Now let's talk about mistreatment, because a lot of people think that to apply for this type of green card, you have to be physically harmed, or you have to show evidence like video or pictures of the abuse. And that's not necessarily the case. If you were abused verbally, if you're abused financially, so if your spouse, your parent, or even your son or daughter who's 21 or up, if they try to use your status against you to control you, if they didn't want you to work, if they withheld money from you to restrict your ability to help yourself, if they put you down verbally, emotionally, this also counts and qualifies you for this type of green card. So one user 6, I finished January 8 my fingerprints, but my EADs come in 6 months right now. Right, so right now it's taking about 6 to 8 months for the work permit to come through. So hopefully you will be at the 6 month mark and not the 8 month mark. But and sometimes it's even more than that. Sometimes it's less. It just depends on it just depends. What if you're over 25 and you didn't get mistreated? So in that case, you would need to qualify in another way. So if you're over 25, you weren't mistreated, but you have a permanent resident, a green card holder parent, or you have a U.S. This will take longer. So it will take about 5 to 6 years for that green card process to go through. And if you're in the United States, then you're going to have a few more hoops to jump through. So you have to apply for a waiver. If you've been living undocumented in the United States, you'd have to apply for what's called a provisional unlawful presence waiver. And what that does is basically forgives you for living in the United States without your papers, and then it allows you to go to your home country, the green card process there after it's been processed and sent to the embassy, and then you living in the United States, without your papers will not be held against you once that waiver is approved and you go to your home country for the final interview. So Yorva Stephanie Logan, did you say work permits are taking 6 to 8 months? So generally, now every case is different, keep that in mind, but generally the safe bet and what I tell my clients to prepare for is 6 to 8 months right now. So yes, it could be less. I did get one work permit in 4 months just within the last week, but the average time right now is 6 to 8 months. So keep the questions coming. This is your opportunity to ask your immigration related questions. That's exactly why I'm here. I am pretty much finished with the topic that I've been talking about, which is how to apply for the green card on your own without your green card holder, U.S. citizen, spouse, parent, or your son or daughter who's 21 or up. I talked about the fact that you can be divorced for less than 2 weeks and still apply for this, or if it was your parent who mistreated you, you can be under 25 and still qualify for this. So what state are you located? I am in Florida, but I represent clients all over the country. As an immigration attorney, I am authorized to do that. We submit applications across state lines, and so it is very much a national practice. So if you would like to give me a call, schedule a consultation, you can call me at 561-405-4889. So Hugh Mildera, so if you have to go back home for the interview, can you come back? With that unlawful presence waiver approved, I would say don't leave the country and go to any interviews unless you have that approved waiver. Once it's approved, then you can go back to your home country for the interview, and they will not, as long as nothing else comes up, they will not use that unlawful presence, basically living without a green card, against you. If you traveled back home, so if you overstayed and you've been living in the United States without your legal papers for over 6 months, and you left the country without any kind of waiver approved, then that would lead to a 3-year bar. You wouldn't be able to come back. If you've been living in the country for over a year, that is a 10-year bar that you would not to come back. So you would be stuck in your home country without the ability to return. You could apply for a waiver, but then the damage is done and you're stuck in in the foreign country where, especially if you've built a life here, you have your children here, and if you leave and get stuck there, you're now separated from your family. So it's important to make sure that you follow the steps and get the approved waiver first. Kathy Mack, 49, can my mother file for her son as a resident? Yes, he has to be unmarried though. So if your mother, green card holder, and her son is not married, then she could apply for him. It depends on his age. So right now, I can safely say that it's taking about 2 years if her son is under 21 and unmarried. However, if he is over 21 and unmarried, then it's taking about 5.5 years. But if he's married in both situations, then he would not qualify for the green card through your mom. Hi, South American travelers. Nice to see you. Great questions. Keep the questions coming. Okay, so he's 35 but not married. Then he would qualify. He would definitely qualify. And guess what? His kids would qualify. So he could bring his kids along. He just couldn't have a spouse. So if he has children that he wanted to take with him, he could do that. So keep the questions coming. I'm pretty much done with what I was talking about, but if you have more questions, I will stay to answer your questions. It could be anything. It doesn't have to be related to you're welcome, Katimak. It doesn't have to be related to anything that my topic. It could be anything that you're going through, that you're thinking about, that you want to know about. I do want to give you one update. I gave this update last night, but I want to give it again, that those of you who are applying for U.S. citizenship or thinking about applying, in last year, Trump had changed the citizenship test and basically made it a little harder and for immigrants to pass it, because he increased the number of questions that the applicant has to study for. So it went from 100 possible questions that you have to study on your imagine before you had to study for 100 possible questions. Then Trump went ahead and changed it to 128 possible questions that you have to study and remember. It's not multiple choice. And then said you had to get 12 out of the 20 right instead of 6 out of 10 right for the old test. Well, Biden just announced that it will be going back to the original, easier, fair, reasonable test of studying for 100 possible questions, and then it would just be necessary to pass 6 out of 10. This will take effect after March 1st. Humilderina, how would we go about doing a Zoom consultation? How do you pay? Great question. So go ahead and give my office a call at 561-405-4889. The first thing you'll do is schedule the consultation, and then you'll confirm with the payment of the consultation fee. Once you do, then my office will send you the Zoom link to access the video consultation and the date and the time that the consultation would take place. So it is very easy. I also do phone consultations for those of you who you don't want to do the Zoom, and for those of you who are close by, there's always the in-person consultation as well. So that in a nutshell is how to do it. So the first step is to go ahead and call the office. I'm going to put my number in the comments, and it's going to be under the immigration attorney, and my number is 561-405-4889. So I'm going to appear under the immigration attorney in the comments. That's my number. Go ahead and give the office a call, and then you will be able to speak to the firm's receptionist, who will then put you on my schedule based on what works for you and what works for me. And then depending on the type of consultation you choose, whether it's phone, Zoom, or in person, you'll get a confirmation email giving you either the Zoom link or the instructions to get to the office. Thank you for that question. So I am pretty much done with the topic. I don't see any more questions, but now is a chance to go ahead and put your questions in the comments. I usually give you a little time, so I'm going to, before I leave, I'm just going to let you know once more. I am U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe. If you would like, you're welcome, Humilderina. If you would like to, get in touch with me, learn more about me and the law firm, you can go to the link in my bio. It will take you to the website where you will have the contact number you will have even web forms that you can submit in order to, and as well as online chat. So you can do online chat as well. So if you don't want to call, but if you want to go ahead and talk to someone at the front desk, you can do that through the website's online chat. So that's another thing, another way to access, get in touch with me and the office. So I don't see any questions so far, but go ahead and drop your questions in. I just talked about how to apply for the green card on your own if you are being mistreated by specific relatives, and that would be U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident parent or spouse or citizen son or daughter. So Kathy, my mother has another son, but he's married. Can she file for him? So no, she would not. As a green card holder, she wouldn't be able to file for him. However, when she turns to a citizen, then she can file for him. But married children of U.S. citizens, you have to be very invested, because that process takes about 12 and a half years right now. Hopefully, they'll address this this crazy, impossible backlog of decades long. So we'll see. So Twan 179, do you do visitors visa? So I can definitely advise on that. You can give me a call at 561-405-4889. What I'll do is require the consultation first to make sure that you qualify for, and then once I know that you're qualified, we can talk about representation or what you need or a plan for you going forward. So the first step is to schedule the consultation. So thank you for tuning in, everyone, and I try to be here daily. Since I made an early appearance today, I will be back later on tonight as usual to close out with you all. So what you can do, if you're not following me, go ahead and follow me. You can see when I go live, and when I go live, you can just hop on, throw your questions in the comments, and I will prioritize your questions and answer your questions. So go ahead and hi there, J-Lo Brown. You can, if you have a question, you can go ahead and go ahead and ask your question, and I will answer. So I'm going to wait around a bit to see if you have any questions. So I was saying before that I am here every day, and I try to be. And so what you can do is follow me and hop on when I come on live. You'll get notification as long as you're following me. Another way, I get a lot of questions about, my content on the videos. One way that you can learn more and see whether you qualify for the green card is to go through my videos, or, follow me and wait until you see videos, and then, you may see something that definitely hits home for you. So go ahead and make sure that you are doing that. Hi, Sexy Tommy. It's nice to see you. And no updates. Sorry. Not yet. Let me see if I see any questions. So J-Lo Brown, I haven't seen any more questions from you come in. So I'm just going to assume that you're saying hello. So if you, let me see if, yes. Thank you for the compliment. You're vast, Stephanie. Thank you for the compliment. I really appreciate that. I see here, Twan 179. What about if you want to apply for work visa? How do you go about it? So that's a very broad question. Usually you'll have to start with with an employer. So an employer usually has to initiate this process. So that's the first thing. There are also other types of employment-based visas. So, and I'm talking about temporary visas, right? So the employer usually, you first have to find an employer. That employer usually has to submit it. But there are so many different options, so many. So what if you really want to explore your options to get a work visa? What I suggest you do is give me a call at 561-405-4889 and schedule a consultation because there are so many different types of work visas, and it's hard to be able to tell you how to pursue one without knowing how you qualify, whether you have an employer, whether you have special skills, what your education level is, where are you. So it is a very detail oriented type of evaluation that I will have to do. Okay. So I see, yes, so your VA is definitely Logan. Thank you for that that clarification. That does make sense. Thank you for that. So go ahead and hold on to your questions. I'm going to head out now. I'm going to try to come back today if it doesn't get too crazy. But I'm glad that I caught up with you all. Thank you for your questions, and I hope to see you again. So hang on to your questions, and when you see me go live, just start dropping them in the comments and I will answer them. Have a good one, guys.